From the Mount Clemens Racetrack, the fifth turn, this week in auto racing. Brought to you by the Mount Clemens Racetrack, Michigan's premier short track. Stan Yee's Collision, the auto repair center specializing in unibody repair. Your host, Jim Brandstatter. Hi everybody, and welcome to the fifth turn this week in auto racing. We're glad to have you along this week for what we feel is a very busy and of course a very fast show. We'll be featuring flagman Vince Suker once again and take a look at a very tough job, that of Louis Bennett. He's the poor guy who inspects the cars for safety, and he also makes sure all the cars racing are legal. And believe me, that's a tough and sometimes unpopular position. In addition, we'll take a close look at our featured races in the fifth turn this time around, the limited sportsman class, the Grand Americans, and the mini mods. It was also a big weekend nationally with MIS hosting a pair of major races. The Grand Prix Formula One drivers move into town this week after a big win for Brabham in Montreal a couple of days ago. And a first-time winner showed up on the kart circuit. And although it was a first-time winner, the name is very familiar. So let's get right to it, and that means we get a chance to meet Louis Bennett, the Mount Clemens Racetrack Safety Inspector, an all-around nice guy, really. The only problem is that Louis sometimes must tell drivers that they can't run because they have in some way violated the rules. That's never fun, and Louis takes the heat, but as they say, it's a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it. And as a non-paid volunteer, Louis Bennett is the man. And it's not an easy job, with changing equipment and rules coming your way almost every week, it seems.
We have certain rules, and we try to keep the rules updated so that the driver's safety is foremost. And like you take any one of these cars around here, we check for the dating on the seat belt has to be within a certain amount of time. It's 3 years dating. If they're older than 3 years, we make them buy new ones, not because we want them to spend money, because we feel after 3 years that the belt is not of the quality of a new belt. Car's got to have the battery covered, securely mounted, so that he doesn't get, if he flips or if he rolls over, if he crashes bad, he doesn't become injured, say through the battery, or the weight's got to be securely mounted and painted a certain color. So that in the event he was to lose the weight, that another driver would see the weight on the track and not run over it. That's why the fuel cells are certain specifications for the installation of that. All of the half-mile cars must have a floater or a quick change rear end so that it doesn't lose an axle, and a few of these things. The drivers on all half-mile cars all must wear gloves. Hobby stocks have certain rules. That we keep checking and make sure that in the event that the car was crashed, that the car still meets the safety qualifications that it's necessary to race with.
What is your biggest job in enforcing the rules?
Probably most drivers really don't give you a hard time. Probably the biggest problem is keeping the car current. In other words, as things change, as the car has been run a few times, things change on the car, and to make them sure that they keep the car up. In other words, if a weld was to break or something, to make sure that it gets re-welded. But a few of these things, a few of the guys really don't read the rule books thoroughly when they build a car, and they just need a little help, and we try to help them.
What is the most fun you have with this thing? Because you're kind of like one of those policing bodies. You're the guy that everybody looks at as, uh-oh, look out, here comes the inspector. What's the most fun you have about this job?
I enjoy the guys, and I enjoy being around the racetrack. I enjoy races. I go to numerous races throughout the year. I go to Florida in February to watch the 500. I enjoy the races.
As you can tell, Louis loves racing, and the Mount Clemens track is lucky to have him out there. Now let's go racing, and let's take a look at a division we haven't yet featured on the fifth turn, the limited sportsman's class. So we go back to last Saturday, June 16th, and the second heat race of the night, as point standings leader Mark Bott showed everyone why he's leading the division.
Here are the green flags out, we're racing. Carl Schultz on the outside and Dave Rand on the inside as they get into turn number 1. The field all bunched up there side by side for that top spot. Dave Randa on the inside. Carl Schultz on the outside. Down the back straightaway. Each driver taking turns, putting a fender out front, but they still stay side by side. Coming off turn 4, it's going to be Dave Randa with the lead. Now Carl Schultz looks to the inside. Schultz looks to the low side that time. Couldn't do it going into turn number 1. It's Dave Randa, Carl Schultz. Paul Freeland running in car number 6 in that 3rd spot. Jim Brooks running 4th, and now here comes Mark Bott from the back of the pack. Bott challenging for that 3rd spot already. Dave Randa, Carl Schultz, Mark Bott, 1, 2, 3 as they get off turn 2 and head down the back straightaway. Mark Bott started last. He's up to 3rd. Here comes the challenge for the lead. Schultz on the inside. Schultz on the inside of Randa. In the turn 3 and 4, both cars get a little skitterish, and they come down the front straightaway side by side. Carl Schultz likes that inside groove, and he gets by Dave Randa. Now here comes Mark Bott. Bott up the challenge for the number 2 spot. Carl Schultz in the lead. Mark Bott challenging Dave Randa for that number 2 spot. They're side by side at turns 3 and 4. A 3-car battle for the lead as they come down the front straightaway. It's Carl Schultz, Mark Bott, and Dave Randa. And car 6 being given the black flag. Down the back straightaway they go. It's still Carl Schultz. Now Mark Bott makes a move on the outside. Bott goes to the high side as Schultz. In turn number 4, they're coming down the front stretch. Bott falls in behind again. Bott and Schultz going at it side by side for the lead. Bott and Schultz, Schultz and Bott down the back straightaway. Dave Randa running in 3rd. Andy Farr running in 4th. Schultz trying to hold off Bott. In turn 4, they're coming down the front straightaway again. 2 laps to go. 2 laps to go, and it's Bott and Schultz going at it side by side down the back straightaway, and Bott starts to surge out front. They've got a lap and a half to go, and Mark Bott finally wrestles the lead away from Carl Schultz. Coming around, they'll get the white flag. It'll mean 1 lap to go. Mark Bott out front, Carl Schultz running in 2nd, Andy Farr running in 3rd, and Dave Randa 4th. Coming around, they're heading for the checkered flag. Mark Bott started last. He's leading on the last lap. Andy Farr closing on Schultz for that number 2 spot. As they come around, it's going to be Mark Bott, Carl Schultz, Andy Farr, and Dave Randa. An exciting race as Mark Bott started in last position, took the lead with a lap and a half to go. And last weekend's feature winner is looking mighty strong again tonight. As he comes around, the driver of the May Tax Service Bott Chassis Monte Carlo from Roseville, car number 70, Mark Bott.
Bott was the top qualifier from that race on Saturday, so he had to start at the back of the pack. And he powered his way through everybody, finally taking the lead with only 1.5 laps to go, and of course he went on to win the feature. Mark has 94 points after Saturday's racing, with Andy Farr trailing him by 16 points. He's got 78 total. 2 former track champions, Carl Schultz and Dave Randa, are tied for 3rd with 76 points each. George Deacock rounds off the top 5 with 72 points.
It's always very busy in the pits here at the Mount Clemens racetrack. We'll be right back with some very busy racing on the track, and also a man who keeps himself very busy above the track. Stay with us here at the 5th Turn.
When something like this happens by accident, come to Stan Yee's Collision for quality auto body repair and refinishing. Stan Yee's Collision will handle everything from the insurance claim to guaranteeing you 100% satisfaction on the repairs they do. Only the most advanced equipment is used, including the new bench fixture straightening system, especially useful for correcting damaged front-wheel drive unit body vehicles. When searching for an auto repair shop, look no further than Stan Yee's Collision.
The Mount Clemens Racetrack invites you to a summer of fun and excitement as it comes alive with the roaring engines and the fierce competition of stock car racing. Every Thursday and Saturday night at 7:30 p.m., Michigan's premier short track features racing from 5 championship divisions: the Grand American, Limited Sportsman, High-Powered Street Stocks, Mini Modified, and the Women's Powder Puffs. The green flag signals summer fun for everyone. Thursday and Saturday nights at the Mount Clemens Racetrack, I-94 and the Mount Clemens exit.
You're only picking up a few things, and after all, Nikki misses you when you're gone, so you brought her along. Will you miss Nikki when she's gone? Temperatures inside a parked car can rapidly rise to unbearable levels. Exposure even for short periods could cause death or severe brain damage to your pet. Please, don't risk an animal's life. Leave your pet at home. A public service announcement from the Michigan Humane Society.
Welcome back. We're at the 5th turn this week in auto racing. The street stock division is shaping up to be one of the tightest point races ever. 12 points separate the top 4 contenders at Mount Clemens. Tom Terzo leads the way with 182 points, with Dave DeSmith tailgating him with 180. Al Hamilton follows him with 174, Chuck Broder with 170, and Scott Farr is way back with 126 points. The Grand American division has defending champion Artie Summers leading with 100 points, followed by Rick Shepard with 94. Chuck Rommel and Dick Barber are neck and neck with 86 and 84 points respectively. Tracy Leslie trails the pack with 50 points. Tracy kept himself in the points race, though, with this win last Saturday.
Flags out and we're racing. Mark Johnson and Larry LeMay side by side out front. And Larry LeMay now wrestles that lead away in turn number 2. Down the back straightaway, Tracy Leslie on the inside of Mark Johnson. Leslie and Johnson side by side for that number 2 spot as they get into turns 3 and 4. It's still Larry LeMay out front. Tracy Leslie running in second. LeMay out front, and now Tracy Leslie looks to the high side. It's Tracy Leslie going to the high side of Larry LeMay down the back straightaway. Leslie's Ford Thunderbird really flying as they get into turn number 3. Leslie gets that lead away, and Larry LeMay tries to come right back. They're in 4 side by side. Now it's Buddy Bennett up to challenge for that number 2 spot. Bennett on the outside in 129 alongside Larry LeMay. Bennett's going to try to get Tracy Leslie as they head down the back straightaway. Now it is Buddy Bennett running in that number 2 spot. Here comes Chuck Rommel in car 33. He's up to 4th. Tracy Leslie out front. Buddy Bennett running in second. Running in third, Chuck Rommel. In 33, Rommel, the man on the move, the comeback driver of the night. Chuck Rommel up to that 3rd spot. Larry LeMay back to 4th. Mark Johnson in 5th. Here they come to take the cross flags. We're halfway home. Four laps in and 4 to go in this heat race. Tracy Leslie shows the way down the back straightaway. Buddy Bennett running in second. 3rd, Chuck Rommel. Rommel, the man on the move. The cars get a little squirrely in turn number 4. And Patty Simcoe off the track in the 4th turn, broadside on the track. The caution flag comes out. The caution flag comes out as Patty Simcoe gets the car onto the infield, out of harm's way, then slid back out onto the track, and she's going to get that car fired up once again. The field starts to pick up the pace. There's going to be just 3 laps to go. The green flag's out. We're racing again, and Chuck Rommel looks to the low side. Tracy Leslie and Chuck Rommel. Buddy Bennett, 1, 2, 3, off of turn number 2, down the back straightaway. Rommel looks to the low side and can't find it there. He's going to take another look for another way around. Tracy Leslie, the top 3, bumper to bumper. Here they come. There'll be 2 laps to go. Rommel looks to the outside. Rommel on the outside of Leslie. It turns 1 and 2. Rommel is and Tracy Leslie holds him off. Leslie surges back out front again. They're going to be getting the white flag this time by. That means there'll be 1 lap to go, and it's anybody's race. Here they come. The white flag's out. Who's going to do it? As Rommel looks to the low side. Rommel to the high side now. Rommel on the outside of Leslie. Rommel trying everywhere to get by Tracy Leslie and just couldn't do it. It's going to come down to a 2-turn battle. They're in the final 2 turns. They'll be coming to the stripe for the checkered flag. Who's it going to be as they come down? Tracy Leslie is going to do it. An exciting race. Tracy Leslie was able to hold off Chuck Rommel. Rommel trying every place, the high side, the low side, the straightaways, the corners. Couldn't do it. Tracy Leslie's Ford Thunderbird was able to hold on and take the win. And boy, this man is going to deserve a big round of applause. He did one whale of a job out there as he comes down to take his checkered flag. How about it for the Mount Clemens, Michigan driver, Tracy Leslie?
There are a lot of people that are very important to auto racing, drivers and mechanics both. But maybe the most important man to the driver when he's actually driving on the track is the flagman. Vince Zucker is the flagman in Mount Clemens, and believe me, in order to get his job and do it right, he's had to have training, and he's got to be on the ball.
I've been at the track for 28 years, and I have studied quite a few flagmen that worked here. Clem van Rosen was one of the flagmen. He was my idol. He was very sharp. He had all the respect of the drivers. And then after that, Ed Janis flagged for quite a few years out here. And when he decided to retire, so to speak, I kind of was asked to take over the reins as flagman. I enjoyed it. I love it as a hobby. I like being around the drivers and the stock cars. And I think just from watching the other flagmen and their reactions to different incidents, I kind of memorized that and tried to act accordingly.
Are you the second most important guy on the track, other than the driver in the car, do you think?
I would say so. Other than the driver, I have a lot of responsibility. I look at it as if the Grand American cars out here, they've got $25,000, $35,000 in each of those cars, and you get 10 cars. That's a lot of responsibility. But other than that, I would say the safety crew is very, very important at the racetrack.
When you flag a car, what's the most difficult thing you have to do as a flagman?
Hope I make the right decision at a split-second timing. And another thing I might bring up, when I flag races, I flag race cars. I do not flag drivers because a lot of the drivers are my personal friends and I party with some of them. And once they get in a race car, I throw that out of my mind. I flag the car and not the driver. So a lot of times a guy will think, boy, gee, I partied with Vince last night and he's doing this to me. Well, I'm not doing it to him. I'm doing it to the car.
What's the most difficult thing you have to do as a flagman?
I would say probably keep track of at least the first 10 cars, look at the south turn and north turn at the same time. I've been very fortunate in the past in being able to pick up something that does happen immediately. The only problem I have here is later on in the year the grass will start getting high on the backstretch and the turns, and if we can't remove the grass, there have been times where a car has spun out and it's been behind the weeds and I haven't seen it right away.
Do you think race fans, for the most part, don't appreciate the flagman? Because really he's the guy that nobody ever really watches. They just see that the yellow comes out okay and everybody slows down. Do you think you're unappreciated by race fans? I know the drivers appreciate you.
I would say the fans that know me appreciate me, I hope. The fans that come out here intermittently, they form their own opinions. I look at it like a baseball umpire. I have to make my decisions. I have to make them to what I think is right, and you're not going to satisfy everybody. No matter what the decision made, you're going to have some that are going to boo, some that are going to cheer. And I throw it off my back like, you know, water off a duck. They pay their money to come and see the races. They got fantastic races here. The opinions they form of me are their own, and I don't let it affect me. You know, it's all part of the sport.
The point standings for the Powder Puff division show a little more breathing room for the leader than the street stock leader has. Bonnie Randa leads the way with 182 points, with Kathy Tosto behind her with 173 points. Sharon Anderson trails both by a wide margin with 136 points, 24 more than Debbie DeSmith's 112 and 26 more than Judy Broder's 110. Bill Breen showed why he's #1 in the mini-mods by winning again on Saturday. He has 116 points to 104 points for second place Eric Bambard. Harold Samuel has 96, Brian McCreath has 92, and Rick Ferguson has 70. Here's a look at why Bill is number one.
John Skoroff takes the early lead, and now fighting right back is Bill Starowski down the back straightaway. Here comes car E2, Rick Ferguson, the man on the move. Bill Breen also moving up through the field. Action all over the place. Rick Ferguson the race leader, but Bill Breen up to second, and here comes Eric Bambard in 9. Bambard challenging on the inside of Bill Breen for that number 2 spot. Everybody goes a little bit high, and here comes Bambard on the inside. Bambard really shot through on that inside groove, and Bill Breen as well. Breen in second. Brian McElrath running in third. Eric Bambard in the lead, running in second, Bill Breen. Eric Bambard in the lead, running in second, 77, Bill Breen, 04. And a car spun out and won, but he gets it out of the way. Eric Bambard, your race leader. Bill Breen, Brian McElrath, and a car off the track in turn number 1. Car number 2 off the track down there. 2 laps to go, and the leaders come by. They'll be getting the white flag this time by, and Bill Breen is trying to find a way around Eric Bambard. The white flag's out, 1 lap to go. The 3 cars, and now Bill Breen tries an inside move, couldn't do it there. Everybody gets loose. The leader, Bambard, tries to hold on, and now Bill Breen goes by on the back straightaway, and so does McElrath as they come around. It's going to be a checkered flag, and it's going to be Bill Breen in second place. It was close for that number 2 spot. Bill Breen tried to avoid that contact down there. I'm sure he would have rather won this race without making contact with the other car, but
next Thursday, these seats will be prime tickets because that's when the Mount Clemens Racetrack will host the ARTCO ASA Challenge Series. The top professional drivers will be here, and stay with us in the 5th turn because Sidney Winkler will be back and explain all about the ARTCO ASA Series.
The Mount Clemens Racetrack invites you to a summer of fun and excitement as it comes alive with the roaring engines and the fierce competition of stock car racing. Every Thursday and Saturday night at 7:30 p.m., Michigan's premier short track features racing from 5 championship divisions: the Grand American, Limited Sportsman, high-powered street stocks, mini modified, and the women's powder puffs. The green flag signals summer fun for everyone Thursday and Saturday nights at the Mount Clemens Racetrack, I-94 and the Mount Clemens exit.
When something like this happens by accident, come to Stan Yee's Collision for quality auto body repair and refinishing. Stan Yee's Collision will handle everything from the insurance claim to guaranteeing you 100% satisfaction on the repairs they do. Only the most advanced equipment is used, including the new bench fixture straightening system, especially useful for correcting damaged front-wheel drive unit body vehicles. When searching for an auto repair shop, look no further than Stan Yee's Collision.
Railroad crossing signals are designed to save lives. Understand this. A 40-ton locomotive traveling at just 30 miles per hour needs a half mile to stop. An automobile can stop a lot quicker. Each year, some 870 persons die nationwide in car-train accidents. 30 of those persons die in Michigan alone. Drivers must do their part. Look, listen, and live.
You're back in the fifth turn this week in auto racing. And it was a big weekend at Michigan International Speedway in the Irish Hills. On Saturday, Neil Bonnet won the International Race of Champions event against some of the world's best drivers. The IROC Series pits the best drivers in a series of races in identically prepared Camaros. And on Saturday at MIS, Neil Bonnet was the man. The following day, though, Bill Elliott was the man as he won the Michigan 400. Elliott had qualified on the pole and then went out and led the race almost from wire to wire. After a late pit stop, Elliott took the lead with 6 laps to go and edged out point standings leader Dale Earnhardt for the checkered flag. Out in Portland, it was a familiar name getting his first IndyCar win. The name is Al Unser, but tack a junior onto the end of Unser. It was the young Unser's first win in the kart series. And in Formula One, defending world champion Nelson Piquet took care of everyone at the Canadian Grand Prix. He was the second fastest qualifier, but had the fastest machine on race day, and that's all that counts, as he beat out Niki Lauda and Alain Prost for the title. The win did not get Piquet into the top 6 in the point standings, though. He's had some bad luck, and the Canadian Grand Prix was the first race that he'd finished this season. So Alain Prost, in a Team McLaren car, is leading the point standings, followed by teammate Niki Lauda. Ferrari's René Arnoux is third. Elio De Angelis of Renault is fourth, and Derek Warwick of the Tag Williams team is fifth. And this week, the Formula One machines will be screaming through the streets of downtown Detroit for the Grand Prix annual stop in the Motor City. And speaking of what's coming up, Mount Clemens Racetrack is gearing up for a very big event also. On Thursday, June 21st, the Artco ASA Challenge is coming to Michigan's premier short track. It's racing at its best. And if you're wondering just what the Artco ASA Challenge is, we've got track promoter Cindy Winkler to explain.
Well, some of the top drivers of the Midwest will be driving. Most of them hail from the Wisconsin, Indiana, Illinois area, and they run the ASA circuit. Dick Trickle will be here. He's known as the winningest short track driver in the United States. He has just hundreds of feature wins to his name, and Joe Shear, Mark Martin, who also runs the NASCAR circuit, ASA circuit. So we've got top drivers that are coming in to compete. Their cars are basically the Camaro type super late model cars that we see out here, with a few differences, a little more tighter specs on it.
You're talking about some serious racing then.
Oh, super serious racing. This is the first time that we're paying as large a purse as it is. It's over a $23,000 posted purse. And so these drivers are competing for a lot of money, and it's going to be some super racing, 100 laps nonstop, and it's going to be just great.
So along with the standard Thursday and Saturday night fare at the Mount Clemens Racetrack, you've got the special Artco ASA Challenge this week. Coming up the following week is the Talladega ARCA Super Series, and you won't want to miss that. And as we head down toward the mid-season, the point standings are beginning to tighten up, which is what makes racing at Mount Clemens so special. And that's about it for tonight. Our thanks for tuning in. We'll be back again next week right here at the Fifth Turn, This Week in Auto Racing. Until then, stay safe, and we'll see you at the track. Be with us next week on The Fifth Turn, This Week in Auto Racing. Brought to you by the Mount Clemens Racetrack, Michigan's premier short track. Stan Yee's Collision, the auto body center specializing in unibody repair.